Well, I do believe we are live. Do we need more light? Sometimes more light can be too much light, and cameras can get. Yeah, camera is wonky. Let me see if I can fix that. Put it on a lower FPS, maybe? Uh, there's an anti-flicker option we can. And if that doesn't work, yeah, it's gonna be banded. Ah, why? Alright, screw that extra light then. It's gonna be a little darker. So, was just watching the Big Clive live stream and working on assembling these boards, and I nearly decided not to actually record this, right? Mainly because I wanted to just assemble it, because this is my last day of building time before I'm back to the wearing the parent hat. I'm not gonna lie, that looks satisfying. Let me hold that up real quick. This is live stream hell, man. Can you even see that? Is it got a focus? There we go. Navi's board. Yeah. There we go. I'm not gonna watch YouTube anymore. I'm gonna watch the OBS studio so I can see how the video looks. So I've got it assembled, and I was gonna use rainbow ribbon cable, and these were supposed to be clouds. So like cloud to cloud with a rainbow, right? Well, I'm impatient, and the rainbow cables didn't get delivered today, so we're not gonna test it today. I just want to assemble it. So that's kind of what I was doing here. I've also assembled the jacks board, which the jack sockets I use, I didn't know this till it was too late, but these jack sockets have a tab on them, right? So I didn't know I was going to have to cut that tab for every one twice to get it to fit on the prototypes. Let me show you what I mean. On the Jackie board, I meant to do oval holes instead of round holes, and yeah, perks of learning. So that's all right. It's not going to stop the test. We have a jack board assembled, and look at that wave. It's so bad. If I would have had the proper slots, it wouldn't have been so bad. So those are off to the side, and when I got this piece, I've got 2 pins assembled. It dawned on me that I kind of want to go ahead and live stream the build. Why not? So let me see. What I'll do is I'll blow this screen up. Maybe it'll be easier to see what I'm doing. But yeah, I've been wanting to get this tested for a while. I've had the design ready, and this is a design that isn't actually posted on the discourse. And the reason for that, I didn't want to spam. Hell, I nitpick over the board, and keep finding things that I would do differently each time. And I don't know. I decided that I reached enough is enough, and if this board here will test out and work, then I know the schematic is good, and I don't feel bad about releasing the files saying, hey, it's tested, it works. This is a really nice spool of solder, and I just realized that I didn't switch my camera. But you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and fix that now. Hold on. So you ought to be able to see a little bit easier. What I'm doing now is I'm putting pins for my ribbon cable. And the only thing that makes these special, there's an arrow, and you can't even see that arrow. Let me see if I can hold that up for you, where you can see what I'm talking about. Can you see that arrow? There you go. So that's the only thing you should note about these boards. Like when I've designed them, as long as you put that arrow on the square on this board, then it will line up just fine. So that just goes in there like that. And let's see. All right. Cool. Now I know that's seated good. I can just set that down and continue on. And around we go. So that was a really good live stream. That was quite entertaining as usual. It usually is. I think there might have been one time that I actually missed a stream that I heard was really good and awkward at the same time, but I've missed some streams because I'm busy working a lot of times, or tinkering, working on a new project, or just being a parent. Sometimes it's just being a parent. Alright, so we found the arrow on this one. Where is it at? And around and around. Did I put those too close? No. Oh, thank goodness. Look at that. Oh, let me just take a moment to share this with you guys. When I measured this, I was using calipers. Now, it is an offset. That's a little disappointing. I'm kind of bummed about that. But look how nice that closeness is. Oh, the tolerance is so nice. So I think that might actually hold itself in place. Yeah, that's gonna hold itself in place. I like that. Sometimes things work out good like that. Now, the only issue here, or rather the only issue that I'm thinking about here, I shrunk the final board even more. Like this board is 70 by 99 millimeters. The new board is 63 by 88 millimeters. And it's also a 4-layer board, which was why these are ordered. These are more complicated boards than I can etch at home. Somebody else probably could etch them, but I mean, I don't possess that skill. So I sent off for this design. And again, this is not my schematic. This started out from Look Mom No Computers VCO, and all I've done is add to it and modify it and add to it and change it, and just little things, nothing anybody couldn't do. Like, you know what I mean? Like anybody could do it. All right, so I want to have those on hand. Resistors. All right, well, the nice thing is I think most of them are pretty much the same. And here's the funny thing, these footprints are too big. I didn't know that until one of the other boards got here, which is on my shelf. I didn't even talk about the fact that some boards made it that were like dummy order. To somebody else probably knows what that's like. They're like, Well, I got excited and I ordered a board, and then I got excited again and ordered another board, and it just, one thing led to another. Yeah, I did that. That was an accident, actually. It's like, well, it's cheaper just to add to order to save the shipping cost and worry about the error later, you know? So in this case, that's kind of what I did. I ended up saying, screw the consequences. It's cheaper to just add to the order. And yeah, I don't know. That's a mistake I'm not going to make again. And I have included that mistake in the README file of this board for whenever these files go public. And the reason I'm putting them public is because I didn't make these. I just want to put it back out. So if somebody else wants to say, hey, I like your design enough to order it, get a board made, you know, I mean, you don't have to do any design work. You can just get this board and order it. That was the hope. Because I have not found a board like this. Like, whenever I went to get one, I couldn't find one. I was like, okay, well, that sucks. Not that I mind doing the work, but yeah, I think I got too many 100Ks out. That's fine. Put those back. I have a few. I have a fair few 100Ks. In fact, I have approximately 1,000 of them. And these are 100 ohm. Is there any 100 ohms on here? No, I don't think there is. I think these are all 1Ks and 10Ks. Yeah. All right. So I need this bag, which has the 1Ks. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and solder these in. Some solder. Solder. That's a debate. That is an entire debate and a half. Somebody in the comment section let me know. Do you say solder? Solder? Like you gonna go out there and solder? Or do you solder? Which one do you do? I want to know. Somebody tell me they solder. I would laugh. I love it so much. Solder. Got my soldering iron. I'm being stupid, I know. I've been having a blast. Brendan Perkins, shared a comment. That was that comment I posted in that other video. And it got me thinking, like, what is proper? I want to know. I really want to know exactly which one of these potentiometers, what makes them different. You know, what's the difference between professional and cheap shit that I did? And I found out real quick, not really a whole lot. In fact, the only real benefit that I can see to the professional pots over mine is they are very strongly mounted on the board. And that's fine if you're going to be only mounting them on the board. If you're going to be mounting them on a panel, then I would think the more important thing would be how good are the screws. But that's, again, you could go dive down that you could dive down that rabbit hole, and there's a answer for every little angle, I'm sure. But I was very curious what made the difference, because there is a price difference, there's a size difference, and there's a resistance difference in the two. And if anybody had eagle eyes and happened to notice those cables, patch cables that had 16 ohms and 19 ohms of resistance, should not have resistance at all. They're dead shorted. And so yeah, I went and broke out several meters. In fact, they're sitting right next to me, but I'm installing these resistors, so I've got 2 more 1Ks left, and then I'll I'll show you what I mean. But I pulled out all 4 of my meters and I tested all of my cables with all of my test leads, and I could not reproduce a 16 ohm or a 19 ohm reading off of those cables. It kept going back to like 0.5 or 0.6, or in the case of the really shitty ohm meter multimeters, they're reading like 3 and 1 ohm or something like that, really low. The point is, for some reason, there was resistance during that measurement, and there shouldn't have been. And I didn't say nothing about it in the video. I figured I would leave that as somebody is gonna comment and say something about it. And nobody really did. Nobody commented and pointed out how, hey, how come your wires, it's just a wire, how come it's got resistance? That kind of surprised me a little bit. Because to be honest with you, I was really expecting somebody to say, Champ, why do you have 16 ohms resistance on a wire that's supposed to be, you know, a non-resistive conductor from point A to point B? And I don't have an answer. I really don't. I have looked through all of my meters and they never give me that reading again. It was only for that video, for that one little moment, it read 16 ohms and 19 ohms. And because I was in a hurry to throw that video up, I didn't go back and reinvestigate it until later that night. And I was still like blown away. How in the world did my meter show 16 ohms and 19 ohms on a piece of wire? And it's fine now. It doesn't show that again. And then it goes, okay, then on my oscilloscope, I probed my synthesizer. The synthesizer signal was nice and clean. You could see the G note, the resonant G note, and everything looked good. But then you turn around and I try to probe a power supply and some batteries, just straight up batteries, which batteries should be showing a nice clean wave. And there's noise that was not present during the test before. And right about the time I started to type, I feel like I'm haunted, my friend was like, that sounds like some witchcraft. I was like, oh God, don't say that. I believe in that mess. Alrighty, so there's all the easy resistors. And now I've got to dig into my box to find the slightly more obscure ones. Let's see, we need a 60. The way I laid this out should be easy enough to see. Do we need a 68? No, we don't. That's 2.2, 47. We don't need a 6.8, but we sure do need a 68. That's a 470. We do need a 470. How about that? We need 2 of them. So I shall pull 2 of these out, lay them right there, and we'll put some 470 ohms in this board and continue on. I know I need to get some more drawers, but I'm broke. Like broke. In fact, I'm not even gonna mention the fact that my kids want these LOL dolls. If you have kids and they ask for LOL dolls, I'm sorry. I feel your pain. My child wants them so bad, and I went and looked at the cost of just a simple little tiny little doll. It's like $25. I'm like, for what exactly? Is it made of gold? What the hell? It just blows my mind. And I'm over here thinking, my child, I'm building a synthesizer, which by all rights is normally pretty expensive, for peanuts basically, and you want this $25 doll that's going to do what exactly? Sit on the shelf till you get bored of it, and then you toss it and gone no more. That just seems a waste. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to be like getting a bunch of them. I'm gonna get probably one because my child wants an LOL doll and I'm not the Grinch. But it's just outrageously expensive. Holy crap, you know. So yeah, I'm not gonna be buying a lot of those. There's a 10K, we need those. That's 10 ohm. All right, what is this one? That's 1.5 mega ohm. We're gonna need some of those. I don't want a lot for Christmas. I'm not gonna do Christmas music. Not gonna do it. Oh, mercy. Oh no. Oh no. This is sad. 3. Tell me I don't need more than that. I got. I'm almost out of 10Ks. Uh-oh. That's gonna be a tragedy. If you're feeling generous, you can ship all resistors to 1-800. Oh shit, I ran out. I'm gonna have one left. That's funny. I'm gonna have to order some more resistors because this is only one board. This is part of a project that I'm working on, and I'm just trying not to overwhelm information. This one lonely 10K resistor. I'm gonna drop you in the bag, buddy. You get your own bag for a little while. Yeah. Cool beans. Coolio beans. That's a happy resistor. He's like, I got it to myself. The resistance was futile. I know. That was a shitty joke. I'm sorry. I'll see myself out. Now, if you're wondering, I'm using 6040 lead-based solder. Because lead-based solder is the best solder. It's the best. It's the best. It beats the rest. Let's put it to the test. No cold solder joints here. Look at that. All shiny. All shiny. We need this 1.5 mega ohm. He's got some chunkin' thick boy legs. I don't know. He made a clattering sound. So yeah, these boards, I spent more time working on bags of chips waiting on this thing than I did actually putting this together, it seems like. The design took a little bit of time. I mean, I did go back repeatedly and keep changing stuff that needed to be done, and then of course analog output and caustic were really awesome in helping solve some issues that are prevalent. You know, it's just something that comes with this design stuff. So they were really awesome there and helped me fix some stuff that I didn't know needed fixing. And of course caustic's the one that added the hard sync and soft sync and FM frequency modulation, 470K. We need one of these, and I got one just loose. Cool. So, you know, this project is not possible without Sam and Caustic's work. You know, like, if you guys haven't checked out Look Mom No Computers channel or Caustic's channel, you should. They're really cool dudes, and they put a lot of work and effort into making stuff like this. And then of course they do it all public, make it easy for, you know, DIYers like me to go in and go, hey, I like that, I want to build one. And we don't have to, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen the cost of a synthesizer that's already pre-built, but it's expensive. And DIY is fun, and it's not as expensive. I mean, it can definitely still be expensive, but I don't know. I feel like you get more of a reward out of this because you've built something yourself by hand, and then you get the satisfaction of it works. If it doesn't work, then you know, solving a problem and getting it to work is fun too. I'm sorry, that's fun to me. So, you know, all of this stuff to say, you know, open source DIY is the best. Now, to be fair, I'm doing this on my channel because my kids don't get to see this. Like, I picked them up tomorrow. What are we going to be doing? Reading books, playing out in the yard, going out to the park. Kid stuff. You know? They're not in school yet, so they got plenty of free time. And so, yeah, that. But on the flip side, I might have to use a 22K on that slot. If that's the case. It'll be like that. I need a 680, 47, 10 ohm, 6.8. There's a 22. I'm gonna have the 22 out in case, because the 24 ohm, I don't have one. I don't think. 22 is close enough. 680, 47. Here's 680. We need a 680 ohm. We need one of these. I'm gonna go ahead and flip through. I'm almost certain I don't have the 24K, which it's not gonna matter. It's not a big enough of a difference to matter, but I'm still gonna look. There's 20K, 3.3. That's 22 ohms. There's 2K. There's a 5.1. That's closer to the 5.6 than the 6.8. So I need that out while I'm at it. And I thought I had some 1K 0.8s. I may not have them in this box. So instead, we'll just put a 2K there. Also fine. So the 680 ohm, we'll put that right in now. I did an experiment on this thing and found out that quite a few of these resistors are very interchangeable. They're not as finicky as some other projects I've done. Cool. So let's put it in. Put it in. Reminds me of that commercial. Plug it in, plug it in. Building. My friend CJ calls me Bob the Builder. Told him, like, can I fix it? I don't know. That's my Bob the Builder line. I said, can I fix it? I don't know. Try it and find out. If you have the exact component value, kudos. If you don't, it's okay. Try to get it close. Like, as close as possible. Don't stress yourself out. I do that. I will stress myself out because it's not exact. But it is okay. Like, I found out quite a bit of these projects, I was like, well, I could have just done that. It would have been fine. But anxiety goes, no, it won't. Or, but what if it won't? That's another thing. Your anxiety can also go, but what if it's not okay? And I'm going, shut up. We are nearly done with the resistors. I also shrunk a bunch of these footprints, like all of them. On the board I'm going to put out. All of the footprints are shrunk down to fit these components. and they are also that's all the capacitors, that's all of the resistors, and that's the trimmer pot. I did all of them. I didn't have to adjust the sockets. Those were fine, and I didn't have to adjust the jumper. But everything else got an adjustment. So now we have finished resistors. While we're here in this sector, we need a 10K, and 10K happens to be a 103, I think. 10K 103. We do have a 103. Cool. So this, see what I mean by how big it is? The new mod, you don't have to do this. This is not something, this is strictly unique to the prototype. Which, if I would have done the intelligent human being thing and actually measured with my calipers right the first time around, this wouldn't be an issue. Cool. I love it. This solder is so amazing. I love it. It's so nice. It flows. Now, let me find sockets. Where's sockets? We need 16 pins. There it is, pin it. Ah. Wrong one. Where are my sockets? There they are. There's a dip socket. Pretty sure that's the right one. Yep, that's the right one. And TLO 72s. Cool. So we can pop this in. We get the funk. We get the funk. Do 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 do. We get it. We get it. We sure did. We get it. We get it. Always we get it. It's only a solder away. I like a nice socket. And then while we're here, put this socket here. Boom. Uh-oh. Almost boom. Now boom. Cool. Solder, solder. Always we solder. Oh, don't do that. Don't solder the resistors in the plastic box. No. Not cool. That's seated. Look at that. We are coming along. We're looking like a board. Heck yeah. Let's go. Now, I need to go in and do some soldering of each of the leads. Do 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 do. I love the smell of flux in the morning. You should not be breathing flux. Don't do that. Bad, bad. Nope. Cool. Socketed. Socketed. Let's go. Now we gotta find some capacitors. I'm gonna put these small ones in first. And let me find where's my tray of capacitors. We need a 1 nanofarad, 102. We grab a 102. Yep, 1 nanofarad. And these sockets are also too big. Again, I resized these in the final revision. This is unfortunate though. And we need another 102. Where was the 102? Is that in here? Oh no, there's the 102. So we populate all of these in the same fashion, which is unfortunate, gonna take a little bit longer than it should because of footprints not being what they should have been. Go me. Way to go, noob. Is what we call living and a learning. And now that I have lived and I have learned, the new revision includes the right size footprints for these components. Is that all the nanofarads of 1? It sure is, which means it should be 103 is 10 nanofarads. And my head's in the camera, isn't it? Where's 103 when you need it? Where are my 103s? Oh no. Oh no. Where are my 103? There they are. So we need 1, 2 of them. That's a 103, that's a 103 and 10 nanofarad. So we shall put 1 here. Yeah, I know this is probably not the most entertaining assembly of a board. But, you know what? If you clicked on the video and you're checking it out, I appreciate you stopping by. I usually forget to record some things and I don't always get the right angles and all the good stuff of how to improve the ever-mounting list of things on YouTube. But you know what? I've been having fun with this project specifically. Those are all 100 nanofarads, which are 104s. I can just get out a bunch of 104s. Like so. Which, you know what, just by looking at the components I've got on hand, I'm gonna have to buy some more components to even assemble the full build. That's unfortunate. I don't think I've got I don't think I've got a reserve of these components on hand. Curse you, fat fingers. Alright, let me assemble those because my fingers are starting to knock the components loose. I'm gonna do it like just a quick solder. When I made the original design, you know, a common practice I've noticed in a lot of VCO modules is that the boards, the jacks and the knobs are all attached to the front panel, and the main board, the actual circuit board, so that there's only like 2 boards to worry about. But this is not one of those cases. I'm making a module that's useful outside of just a Euro rack. You know, this is supposed to be useful in a wide range of use, you know. That way you're not limited to a Euro rack module. You could put it in, say, an instrument of some kind if you wanted. Or at least that was the goal. Hopefully that goal will happen. We shall see. Only time will tell. Gotta take it a day at a time. Take it a day at a time. Yeah, yeah. The low capacitor blues. I'm gonna be singing. I should have asked Santa Claus for a whole mess of capacitors and resistors for Christmas. How about that? What did you want for Christmas, little Timmy? I want a G.I. Joe. What do you want, little George? I want capacitors. Preferably big ones. Big ones. Chunkin' big ones. Especially power filters. Yes. So bad. I hate it. We're working with it. We'll work with it. Fine. It's cool. Just keep on rolling, shall we? We'll put it in there like that. Put it in there like that. Cool. Doo-doo. Cool beans. Oh wow, that's really tall. Which one is that one? That one. Cool. That's good enough. I didn't mean to make them like Shaq. That's a Shaq of the capacitors. Alright, we got 210 microfarad. Wait, do I have some electrolytics over here that are 10 microfarad? Start using up some of these ones. Oh, we gotta use them. These have gold print, microfarads with gold print. Let's go. Put that one there. There we go. Now look at that. I didn't even have to dig out of my big stash. Mind. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't indicate positive and negative on this board. Oh, shit. Alright, so this is ground, this positive. Cool. Whoops. Y'all saw that live. Thank goodness I can see the ground plane. You know, and like I said, I'm learning. This is new experience for me. There we go. Nice and seated. Now the next one, the ground plane, is on this side. So negative toward me, positive toward me. Excuse me. So just like, you know what? Hold up. This, you know what'll make this easier? If I just use my duckbill pliers and straighten these little wrinkles out that they put in them way up near the top. So positive toward me. I'm gonna have to go back and silkscreen, do some there. Oh, that's nice. That was so nice. I wished I would have done that the first time. All right, cool. So be mindful that I'm gonna write that down if I didn't already. Be mindful of your orientation of the electrolytics. If you've downloaded this board before I've had a chance to update the file, then that's going to be your worry. Watching the polarization of these two caps. Everything else is non-polarized. Nothing to worry about. But these are polarized, and I thought I covered everything. Guess not. Oh well. Again, I apologize. But if you assemble this board yourself, be wary of your polarization. You don't want to blow your capacitors up. Now, we have assembly. Yes, we do. Everything's installed. Look at that. We have a VCO board populated and ready for testing. But I'm not going to do the testing today. I do not have that energy. I did want to do the assembly, which includes the last two pieces. These go on those pieces. These are the ribbon cable clamps. So there's 4. There's a 5th one missing. Probably knocked it around somewhere. There it is. There's the 5th one. So while we are hot on the soldering, orient the triangle the right direction and drop that right there. And I will say the thing about this board that I like, that's actually hard to do. I'm noob. I are noob. There we go. I tried to make these jack sockets in the main board super easy to point, so you didn't have to worry about like, oh, well, which pin is which. Well, they're point to point, so as long as you match pin for pin, it's right. There's no screwing this up. Now, if you don't match pin for pin, you go like pin 1 to pin 2, yeah, you'll mess it up. And I'm sure there's plenty of people capable of that. But at that point, I would hope that they're not playing around with high voltage or anything dangerous. Because, yeah. But all of this is in the README file as well. And so, yeah, at this point, if you're wondering, like, you don't even have to make these interconnects permanent like I'm going to be doing. These, you could socket them and use plugs instead. But I'm using these up because I didn't really intend to buy those. They came with an order, and now that I've got them, I might as well use them. So this one is actually this way. And the reason that arrow matters is because you match arrows on both ends and you end up with a workable design. Whereas if you don't match on both ends, then you have to include a pinout, and pinouts can be confusing to some people. So in this case, I didn't want that. I wanted it to be super simple, easy to follow. And so I've made the README file as a backup. But you should just be able, if you're working on a synth and you're using these boards, you should just be able to point everything and it'll work fine. As long as the schematic passes this test, which we are working toward. Today is the assembly. I have the kids for about a week or so. So it may be, call it next week or next weekend before we get to test this thing. So I do apologize if you were hoping to see it tested before the weekend or over the weekend. I can't get to it in time. That's the nature of it sometimes. Alrighty, so now we've got all of our boards assembled, ready to go. So let me bring some light up here. We have the main VCO. This board is what's going to house the CEM 3340 and the two TLO 72s. It's looking good. I don't really care for the way these capacitors are in here, but again, I can go back and I've learned how to do the footprints the right way. So I think that looks pretty sharp. I like that. And the next step, we have the Jackie's board. Jackie's board I think looks pretty sharp, except for the squigglies, which again wouldn't be a problem if the holes were oval instead of circular, but I measured them with my calipers and made some boards. And then of course the Nobby's board. So that'll be exciting. Yeah. Alrighty, so until next time, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna, again, whoops, put my cameras all over the place. I'm going to try I'm going to try to do what I can to have this better prepared for next time. You're about to go for a ride while I move my screen around. Apologies. There we go. Now you can see why I zoomed in on this one spot, because it's like a wide view. And the only thing you missed over here on the side that I'm working with is I'm just over here using my little solder caddy. So, actually, speaking of which, before I turn my iron all the way off, I always put some solder on the tip of it, keep it nice and protected. Roll that up, and you know that's why I made this tray, because it just sits right there, nice and convenient for later. Whenever this testing is done and I have confirmed that it works or whatever, or even if it doesn't work, how about that? Even if it doesn't work, if you're interested in owning one of these boards for whatever reason, like if you want your hands on this, I've got 4 of these whiteboards, and I've got some other boards that are also in various stages of functionality and prototypes. Like everything that I've prototyped and made, I'm gonna make available, so if you want one, I can just throw it into the mail and you'll have one. This is the test module. These can go out. The final version that I've got coming in, that's the smaller one I'm going to be using for my project, I'm not going to order enough of them to send out. I'm only going to order the little 5 stack because I will be using 5 of them. But the files will be available. So you're not gonna miss out on anything that I've got that I'm not gonna be posting. So yeah, until next time, hope you have a good one, and we'll try to get these assembled and tested out in the coming week. So awkward pause while I stop everything.